Hello, everybody, and welcome to Swampy Comics. I'm Swampy, and today we're going to be throwing the new comics that came out this week of January 14th, 2026, the second week of January. We're going to be throwing those comics that I picked up into the Guy Gardner tier list. And right at the top of the stack, we have Action Comics number 1094. This issue is written by Mark Waid with art by Patricio Del Pech, and letters by Steve Wands. And in this issue, we have Clark helping out Smallville as Superboy and just doing random things, and the town knows and respects Superboy well enough, and he's going to talk about these things as he then starts talking about his relationship with Lana Lang and how her dad is the only person in town that doesn't really like him, because even as Clark Kent, he's loved and well known all around the town. He's then called away by General Lane to go deal with some military conflict in some comic book nation named Medora, where Dr. Stone, Cyborg's dad, has been taken hostage, and some troops that were trying to extract him have run into some issues. So Superboy goes there. He's like having all sorts of weird effects are happening to him, and it's because the terrorists there are using this weapon, and it's like a strong sonic disruptor, and Superboy's able to take him out and you know save the day. But while he's doing that, he witnesses the horrors of war and kind of says to himself he's never gonna you know work for the government in that capacity ever again. Um, and after he's back at home, he kind of really wants to you know let somebody else besides his parents in on the secret of Clark being Superboy, and he's thinking about having to be Pete, and decides that that's too much of a burden to throw on him without asking, and decides to keep his secret to himself. And all in all, this was a good issue. I really liked the a different kind of introspection look at Superboy. He dealing with some trauma. He said he'd seen dead bodies before, but not like this. And wanting to reach out and try to be able to talk to more people about it, but just feeling completely unable to do so. I really felt for the kid, and yeah, I really did like this issue. I just realized I forgot to put in our little tabs here, so I'm going to be resizing things live. So let's take Action Comics number 1094. Let's throw this issue in A tier. Just a really strong. Let's do it this way. Just a really strong character study of Clark. Um, you know, just um, just keeping in line with the hopefulness and the growing hero that is Superman within this run of Action Comics that Mark Waid has been doing it. And yeah, I'm here for it. Next up, we got Aquaman number 13. This is written by Jeremy Adams with art by Daniel Bayliss, colors by Rex Locus, and letters by Dave Sharp. And in this issue is a very Mara focused issue. With Arthur gone in the tournament, we have a little blink into that, but it's nothing that doesn't happen in DC KO number 3, which we'll talk about later. But calling this book a DC KO tie-in is quite the stretch. I've been, yeah, like I, not to criticize it too much, but this doesn't belong as a DC KO tie-in at all. Um, but anyway, there are probably Aquaman readers who are just like, yeah, this is my book. I have no interest in DC KO, so it is interesting for them to see what Arthur's doing during this time. So I get it. But yeah, kind of just threw me for a loop. That it was like, wait, that's it? I read DCKO first this week, so I already saw this scene. This is not much, but anyway, that's besides the point. What we do have here is Mara confronting what's his name? Neris? Nereus, yes. Confronting Nereus, who's just sitting alone in the ruins of Zevel, um, as and inquiring what the hell happened to her homeland and why is it completely ruined. And at first he's like, I thought you this is all like your fault, I thought, but some lady that looked like you then came here and convinced a bunch of people to disguise themselves as Atlanteans to then betray Atlantis as a whole. And through this episode or this issue, we see that it is indeed Angelina who knew something fishy was up since the Halloween issue. But Andrina is looking to be Mara's mother, resurrected, reborn. Does this have to do with any of the crazy Omega stuff or, you know, Darkseid's minions coming out of the seafloor? Who knows? But yeah, um, yeah, there was some cool fighting in here as we are discussing Andrina and how Arion and Vivienne, the Lady of the Lake, are totally having kind of second thoughts about like she fights really furious and she's a very very brutal person. I'm is this who is this person for real though? And yeah, this was cool. I really liked where it was going. It was a whole lot of talk though. Just kind of a very character focused issue when it comes to Mara, which isn't a bad thing. I did enjoy it, but we're just setting up the next big story beats, which I think will be a little more exciting than this issue. So we're gonna throw this one right in that B tier there, the Smiling Guy Garden. Next up, DCKO number 3. This is written by Scott Snyder and Joshua Williamson, pardon me, with art by Zermanico and Javier Fernandez, colors by Alejandro Sanchez, and letters by Hassan Atsmain Al-How. And in this issue, we have quite the matchup. It's our top 8 going against each other. We got Superman versus... Okay, well, our top 8 versus each other, but let's set it up this way, where everybody gets to call on somebody else that's been, eliminated from the tournament in order to assist him in this fight. And except for Joker, who's absorbed the most bonus Omega energy, I guess. But yeah, we have Superman and Shazam going against Guy Gardner and Hal Jordan. Wonder Woman and Big Barda going against Aquaman and Hawkman. Lex and Luthor and Supergirl going against Cyborg and Connor Hawk. And Zatanna and Constantine versus Joker and Mr. Mixolydic. Yeah, this was a crazy issue. I kind of wish it was a double size. I would have loved to just see more and more panels of all these characters fighting in these combinations of characters. Some highlights for me were seeing, that Joker's secret opponent was the Batman who laughs, but not really. It's Mr. Mixolydic. That was a fun fake out. Let's see. I loved Wonder Woman calling on Big Barda. The big Superman Shazam fusion was totally awesome, as was Lex Luthor kind of, using Supergirl. It's like, oh no, I didn't need you for an ally. I got all this kryptonite on me. I'm just gonna turn you into a huge rage monster and let you go for it. That was pretty cool. And it's really cool to note one thing I realized, and it wasn't too subtle or anything. Guy Gardner comes out like, I could have chose somebody more powerful, but I always stand by my friends. In this tournament, as the Heart of Apocalypse has been urging all these characters to, take on the mantle of Darkseid and do things as he would do them. Basically, everybody that won, and including especially Superman. Well, let's put it this way: everybody that lost chose a friend or somebody that they're close to or a confidant, which is great in any other superhero book, but this is DCKO, and so the people that called on other people that they knew they could use against their opponents were the ones that won. Um, Superman and Shazam, it's just like he's like, "Wow, thanks for having me back," like thanks for thinking I deserved a second chance. And then Superman's later like, "Yeah, so I chose you not for who you are, but it's actually what you can do for other people." And he bestows upon him the Shazam powers, and Superman just rocks house of Hal Jordan and Guy Gardner. Yeah, I really liked this. This was probably the best DCKO issue so far. The first one was probably the nuttiest. but this one was really, really strong. We're gonna throw it in. Let's shrink it down here and throw it in that A tier. There we go. Next up, Doctor Strange. Oh, whoops! I forgot to do the slideshow. Yeah, DCKO. See it? See it right there? Whoopsie. It's there. We were just talking about it. It's also an A tier right there. But next up, Doctor Strange #2. This is written by Derek Landy with art by Ivan Fiorelli, colors by Dono Sanchez Almara, letters by Corey Pettit. In this issue, we have Strange dealing with the repercussions of his refusal to follow the directions of the people that sent him out on the job, and him thinking he knows better, and yeah, his arrogance just totally got in the way of this one, and it just seems like it's unleashed dark powers and the secret of a broken pact that has now been come to light, and he has quite the opponent against him in the form of Verboten, this evil elf king. Yeah, we see heaven attacked on two sides and torn asunder, with its leaders dead and its ways for its angels to procreate gone. As Angela and Strange try to deal with this Verboten, he's distracting them on one end and then totally pulling the real assault on another end. Yeah, I don't know. This was just fun action fantasy comicking. I loved this issue. This was great. But I think it'll read a little more fun as the piece of a whole story. We're just still setting up the conflict here. Yeah, but I kind of hope this arc is one of the longer ones. There's a lot to do and flesh out here, especially if we start jumping around to the other 9 realms. Who knows what Verboten has up his sleeve now that he's free. I'm thoroughly enjoying this Doctor Strange run, 2 issues in. I think this is great, and I think we got yet another. Whoops. I'm really messing up the video this time. There we go. Good God. Sorry, folks. This one's messy. All right, but we'll put Doctor Strange in A tier. There we go. Next up, we got G.I. Joe #17, The Dreadnought War, Part 5 of 5. This is written by Joshua Williamson with art by Tom Riley, colors by Jordi Belair, and letters by Russ Wooten. And holy crap, did I absolutely love this issue. Boy, oh boy, what did we have going on here? Just a huge, just action-packed finale to this story arc. We have Cobra officially bringing the Dreadnoks into the fold of Cobra as hired hands. We have the Joes that have showed up to support Duke and try to capture back Cobra Commander, coming to blows with Cobra Commander and the Dreadnoks, and a big fight happening. And not only that, during this battle, we have the reveal that Clutch's Jeep is indeed the Transformer Hound, as he turns the tide of battle and just kicks total robot ass. Was totally great. I loved it. I mean, we're doing good work in this Energon universe, and it makes me bummed out that I'm not reading Transformers, because I feel like I might be missing out on that side of things over there too. But holy crap, yeah, this story arc is gonna, yeah, it's keeping. I've said it a few times, but definitely keeping me in this series for the long haul. Like this is staying on the top of my poll box. I'm excited for it every week, and it sucks. This Dreadnought War has been like an every 2 weeks kind of release schedule for these issues, so a GI Joe intake's gonna slow down, and I'm kind of bummed. I've been getting a lot of it lately, and I've been loving it. Yeah. Wow. I had so much fun reading this issue. This week, this bad boy is going in S tier. This was perfect. You couple that with the big reveal at the end that General Hawk this whole time has indeed been Zartan. The Dreadnoks have been here and Zartan hasn't, but he's here now, and I cannot wait for the future of this book. So much fun is being had. Just great stuff. Yeah, S tier for sure. Next up, we got Green Lantern Corps number 12. This is written by Morgan Hampton with art by Will Conrad and Jason Paz. Some more pencils by Fernando Passarin with those inks done by Eau Claire Albert and colors by Arif Prianto, Ian Herring, and letters by Dave Sharp. I should say Arif Prianto and Ian Herring with letters by Dave Sharp. And in this issue, boy oh boy, is Larfleeze causing trouble. As you know, our new recruits are learning about their crutches. You know, those infamous items that you know, it seems like our heroes always have. Whether it be Guy Gardner's baseball bat or you know, John Stewart using military equipment. You see that a lot, and it's cool to see our other characters kind of get theirs, so to speak, this issue. Let's see. But all while that's happening, the hunt for Larfleeze continues as he releases a just basically greed wave. He blows up. He releases an explosion from his lantern that causes everybody on Oa who's not wearing a ring to be totally overtaken by greed. And on top of that, he's taken a giant form of himself and he's Godzilling the whole city of Malachite in the center of Oa. And yeah, it's complete chaos. And all while this is going on, the Indigo tribe is nowhere to be seen because they are preying on something, and they're trying to figure out what is heading towards the planet. They can't figure out what it is, and Aya's there to assist them. We figure out that it's Enquar, who we see at the beginning of the issue, has taken over an entire planet with himself. Him being a water being and it being able to propagate himself as a central hive mind kind of thing within any source of water. It looks like pretty freaky. Yeah. This is how I love my Green Lantern Corps books: messy, chaotic, and full of action. I really like the current storyline of a bunch of Corps on Oa trying in vain to get along. This is great stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna throw it in A tier. Lots of good books this week. This is one of my favorite GLC issues of this run so far. A lot of fun. And I love that the fight didn't even end. So next issue, we probably have Edquar showing up to Oa with this planet, and Larfleeze still doing his thing. With Encar wanting to take the planet, I wonder how Larfleeze is going to deal with that. I'm kind of wondering if Larfleeze is going to take Enquar's planet and Larfleeze is going to have his own Mogo after this. We shall see. We shall see. Lots to think on and lots of fun to be had with that thinking. But next up, we got Supergirl number 9. It was written by Sophie Campbell with art on this one by Joe Quinones and letters by Becca Carey. We're continuing our holiday arc with more. It's New Year's, yeah, more holiday stuff. And yeah, this basically this was a bit of a bummer issue for me. I'll be honest, I've been super high on this run, and this one just kind of, I'm getting tired of the holiday arc. I'm glad this Valentine's Day one is going to be the last one. I'm ready for Supergirl Arcara to get back into superheroing a little more. And I'm super bummed that the whole thing of Lesla and Lena Luthor sneaking Lesla some Kryptonian booze, basically, at this party, and Lesla freaking out is totally grounds to send her back to Kandor. So now she's out of the picture for the foreseeable future. I really liked Lesla being around. I really did, and I'm bummed already that, yeah, she seems to be relegated to the bottled city once more. And you know, I did enjoy this issue, and it did put me in the headspace of being bummed for our characters because that's where this issue ends. But as me, the reader, it also left me a little more bummed than I usually am at this book, which threw me for a loop because I'm usually coming off like really giddy and happy after these issues. But nonetheless, thoroughly enjoyable. Nothing worth complaining about. Just probably my least favorite issue so far, just because it had a bunch of story things that I didn't want happening. happen. Anyway, next up, and the last, but we got Wonder Woman Black and Gold 2026 special number one, a collection of 4 stories done by different creative teams. We'll just go through them one by one real quick. And we got some more notes on this one. Let's see. The first story, Decent Docent, is by Tom King and Mitch Gerads. They're both credited for story, with Mitch doing writing and art, and Clayton Cowles doing letters. And this one is a really nice kind of just story about a super fan of Diana, this little kid that's just waiting around a museum all day to meet Wonder Woman, and just not giving up. The longer it goes on, the more sad it gets, because you're like, does this little girl have no one else to go to? She's just allowed to hang at this museum all day. But nonetheless, as she's waiting and talking about why she loves Wonder Woman, we're seeing flashes of Wonder Woman fighting Angleman and Paperman and the Crimson Centipede, until she makes an appearance at the end. And this was cute. I liked it. We'll throw this story. We'll give it an 8 here. I mean, it was just yeah, pretty and cute. The next story, Last Flight. This is by Alyssa Wong. This art by Karen S. Darbo and letters by Steve Wands. This story involves Wonder Woman coming together with Xanthi Zhao to go to the spirit world and try to find Steve Rogers' spirit. And this one was beautiful and wonderful, and my favorite part of this book, hands down. I'll just say it right now. This was great. This was an S tier story. You know, it's bold of a story like this to do something that can relate to canon so strongly, but I really liked it. I really thought it worked on every single level: art, writing, tone, just perfect. Yeah, kudos to Wong and Darbo. This is one of the favorite things. Like, this is, yeah. I hope I remember this at the end of the year when I'm doing my favorite stuff I've read, because I mean, this short story was perfect. It was perfect, perfect on every level, perfect. Anyway, let's quit glazing. Let's move on to the next. Third story is The Truth Unreal. This is written by Steve Orlando with art and colors by Rossi Gifford and letters by Pat Brissot. In this one, we have Wonder Woman confronting a bunch of people under the thrall of Anton Unreal and his silver tongue. And yeah, it's Wonder Woman, the infamous story of making the man who thinks he's God come to his knees and realize he's just a man. Coupled with just because he's out of the picture doesn't mean that story's over and everybody's saved. Diana actually has to sit down and talk to these people and explain to them like why all these things that Anton Unreal has been teaching them and kind of brainwashing them with are false and not good. And yeah, I thought this was really good. Another A-tier story. This was great. So good. Yeah, all in all, like, I like this one so far just way better. And I'll just say I'm going to continue to. I just like it way better than the Superman Blue and Red special 2025 that we had recently. This one's just hitting, yeah, every note for me. I loved it. And even this last story, The Peach Thief, written by Jordi Belair, who's doing career work colors on G.I. Joe right now, with art by Paulina Ganucho, colors by Kendall Good, and letters by Becca Carey. And this is just a little Diana story about Diana, sitting in the royal throne room and being bored with all the stuff that comes with being a princess of Themyscira. Till she hears about this peach thief. Um, she decides she's gonna investigate, and it's just a very cutesily drawn, fun little few-page thing of a little kid Diana getting to the bottom of this peach thief and enlisting the help of others, and just finding out at the end it's her kangaroo jump with big old jump. You can just hear it. Yeah, I loved it. So good, so so fun. This was great. I have zero complaints about this, and honestly, I was just getting this to fill out the stack. So this is the surprise of the week. I think this is perfect. Yeah, just on every level. Yeah, a great book. Um, but although I do think this book is perfect. I do have to say My pick of the week is definitely this GI Joe number 17. I just, man, oh man, yeah, just I felt like I was on, reading this. I felt like I was in my pajamas on a Saturday morning in 1991 eating cereal, and I just loved every moment of this issue. And so, yeah, that's the stack this week and how I feel about it. So, thanks for watching. Give a like and a subscribe if you can. Leave a comment below with how you feel about it. And thanks for dealing with my forgetting to put the images in ahead of time, but just rolling with it. All those Windows chime sounds for that 30 seconds kind of had to be annoying. So, I appreciate it. Anyway, until next time, thanks for watching and keep reading. Click, stop, record, now.